Hey, scary people, and welcome back to the One Scary Woman YouTube channel. And I'm doing this a little bit of an extra video this week because, as some of you might have noticed last week, I posted a book trailer for a book that I just had come out. So, yes, I just released a novel last week called Wolves at Night. If you want to find out more about it, I'll include the Amazon link down below. But this has really gotten me thinking this past week about the difference between books and screenplays, the difference between writing these two. So I've talked about it a little bit before. As most of you know, adaptations are one of my specialties. And of course, I am already thinking about how would I want to go about adapting Wolves at Night into a screenplay versus a novel. So I thought this was a really good opportunity to talk about one of the key things I think you want to keep in mind if you are one of the people who's taking on an adaptation for your screenplay or film project as opposed to writing a project from scratch. Now, in thinking about this, reflecting on this past week, not that I haven't already thought about adaptations a lot in my life, I think one of the key differences that I just wanted to talk about and share is how it is the difference, the way you approach the writing, how it's the difference between an interior world and an exterior world. So let me explain this a little bit more. In a book, you have the freedom to be completely in your main character's head or multiple characters' heads. However you really want to approach it, you're able to show that interior life. And I guess, granted, not every book does this, depending on, the character structure they choose and what kind of narrator they use and, all that kind of stuff. But you have the freedom to go deep into the psyche of a particular character. So in Wolves at Night, it's entirely from the point of view of the main character, Eleni. And as she goes through the different things she goes through, you are inside her mental process as she's processing the things that happen to her. Now, there is a lot of action in the book. It's a thriller, so of course there are a lot of visual things happening that will translate well to the screen. But in terms of her interior process, we get the luxury of being able to read from her point of view and knowing what she's thinking and feeling. Now, when it comes to a screenplay, so it's the difference between being able to essentially tell someone this is how the person is feeling versus you have to just show clues to how they're feeling in a screenplay. So first-time screenwriters, a lot of times one of the mistakes that I see is that they actually write in their description how the person is feeling. And this is like a big, big no, because obviously when that movie is up on screen or the television show, is on the TV, or the computer or the phone nowadays, the audience isn't reading the description in the screenplay. They have no way of seeing that. So nothing should go in the description unless it's to describe something that we visually can see. So it's some kind of action or hear. But it has to be something that we're able to see and hear. We can't see and hear, oh, deep in her brain, she was feeling this way. So when you go to approach a screenplay, think about this. And this is actually true for real life, which is why I think the screenwriting medium is so interesting for a lot of reasons. But in real life, a lot of times people don't tell us exactly how they're feeling. So, for people out there who love books, I get why you love books, because books can give you the answers that a lot of times dealing with real people you don't get. But in real life, people a lot of the times, they don't tell you point blank, this is how I feel. Instead, you just get clues. And it's the same thing with a screenplay. So if you write a good screenplay, it's all about the clues indicating how that person is feeling, indicating, the process that they're actually going through inside. I recently rewatched the movie Gravity with Sandra Bullock and George Clooney. So I don't know if people watching this, if you've seen it, if you haven't seen it, but one of the things I think they do really well in that movie is they mention that she lost a 4-year-old daughter. And that movie is a lot about grief. Like, it's a very high intensity, high action movie, lots of visual stuff going on. But one of those key themes is her coping with her grief and being able to come through it or not. And what I really like in the way that they treated it is that they kept it very, very subtle. You get the little bit of backstory on the daughter. And then other than that, you really just get these few little mentions. Like at one point she's on a radio and she picks up some frequency from a ham radio from somebody down on planet Earth, and she hears a baby crying, and you just see the look on her face. And she doesn't say to the audience, oh, this reminds me of, my own child, or, but that it's happening just because you've heard the backstory and now you hear the baby, and just seeing it on her face, what's happening. So when you're going to write a screenplay, think about designing it in terms of giving those powerful clues as to what is happening in this person's head, because unlike a book, you can't invite people into that person's head with you to actually experience what they're experiencing. You have to show it in a different way. All right, if you enjoyed this, make sure to like and subscribe, and of course put down below in the comments any thoughts you have on books versus screenplays and how you should approach sharing your characters with the world in a book versus a screenplay. I'll see you guys next time.